Okay, welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I'm Adam. Happy Monday. This is going to be going up late Monday because I saw the movie today. Work has been a little bit hectic, so here we are, Monday. Movie of the week. The first movie of the week is going to be Operation Finale, which is a movie about how Israel went in and extracted the what's it called? Oh my god! I just walked out of the movie theater. I can't remember the fucker's name. Adolf Eichmann. They extracted Adolf Eichmann from Argentina and brought him to Brought him back to Israel to stand for his crimes during the Holocaust. Now, this movie has one fundamental flaw that I have a problem with, and it's a narrative problem that they have throughout basically the entire movie. The problem I have is that they try to the main character in the movie is Oscar Isaac. He plays Peter Malkin, who's one of the one of the guys he's the one who actually physically abducts Eichmann, and he's the one who gets him to sign a paper saying that he's coming of his own free will to Israel to stand trial for his crimes. So he's a pretty important figure in the movie. He's the main character. So he's a his thing is that throughout the entire movie, maybe it's just I misread the movie, but I've only seen it once. It's possible I misread the movie, but they try to make it seem like he has some personal reason why he hates Eichmann, which all the members of the team that go in to get him, be it all the unnamed characters or characters who have names that are very briefly mentioned, and then they have supporting roles to the entire thing. Hannah, his former girlfriend, who's also who is in charge of drugging Eichmann once they have him in custody, so that way they can get him pliable and get him across onto the plane and out of there. The only character whose name I actually do remember because literally entirely because of the League, Nick Kroll playing a character called Rafi, which I found mildly amusing. So that was pretty fun. But that's, just if you've watched the League, you'll be like, aha, and then move on with your day. He's the only other character whose name I remember. But they, So they, all the characters, they even make a point of this when the Prime Minister of Israel comes to them before they go on the mission and says, this is a big deal. Right before the Prime Minister comes in, they start talking, who did you lose? And they're talking about who they lost in the Holocaust. And it's like, people someone's like, I'm the last one. One of the guys, I'm the last one. And someone's like, I lost siblings, I lost my parents, I lost this. And they try to make it seem like, despite all of this, the person who has the most personal vendetta against Eichmann is Oscar Isaac, and the only person he lost was his sister. I'm saying only, but if you're looking at it comparatively, there's no real. A lot of the narrative decisions the movie makes in the way it is, and it's based on a true story, which means that largely the core story is intact, but things are dramatized and things are moved around and things are omitted and things are not necessarily added but embellished to make the movie work better as a movie rather than just a dramatic retelling. Because, obviously they don't show everything that happens because they show 10 days over the course of an hour. So obviously there's a lot that's omitted over the course of the movie. But they cut 240 hours down to 1. So there's a lot that's omitted. A lot of character development's omitted because of that. So they only show the highlights of what's absolutely necessary. Mixed with that is over the course of that 1 hour, they're not only showing what's going on with the members of Mossad who kidnapped him. Well, I don't want to say kidnapped because that makes it seem like they did something wrong. Because, kidnapping's illegal. They apprehended Eichmann over the course of that hour where they're showing them trying to get the signature out of him and all of that. They're also showing his son doing what a son would do, even if the son is a Nazi in this case, and that is going out and trying to find his father and leading it. That said, to make it seem like that way you sympathize less with the son, he's not going through the police. He's going through like these back channel Nazi organizations that also happen to have pull with the police and everything. Because they don't really get into it too much, but they make it seem like at the same time it's a shadowy back channel organization that runs the Nazi Party in Argentina, but they, at the same time, also have it where it's big, corrupt, and almost Hydra-like in the amount of control it has all over the government. So really, they don't really tell you how much of it they actually... Like, that part of it is kind of glossed over and leaves... And a little bit more exploration into that would have been interesting to see how much control they actually had and how much of it was him going... And I get why they did it this way, because if they did it where he looked like he was going through the police and all of that, it would paint... not only him in a better light, but it would paint his what the protagonists in the movie are doing more negatively. If it's like, and look at this poor boy, he's going through, his father got abducted and now he's trying to find him. And really, if you flip the script, you can make that into a movie about him. But because he's doing it in back channel ways and stuff that's involving shady organizations, it makes it look like it illustrates that he's not as upstanding as noble as what he's doing. You have to keep in mind the fact that he is he is doing this to help one of the four most important figures of the Nazi Party in Germany during World War II. That's also something I want to talk about that's a little bit weird with this movie, is that they give a lot of time to let Eichmann, or Ben Kingsley, who does a great job in this movie, which I don't know if anyone expected any differently. He does a great job really, like, explaining, explaining what it is that he's, what his thought process was during the whole thing, and how he felt detached from what he was doing, and how he wasn't really doing anything wrong. He was having other people do it for him, so how is he any better or worse? And they give a lot of time to showcase what his thought process was and the mental gymnastics he did to avoid any negative repercussions, which I think, given the current political climate, isn't necessarily needed, considering we see enough of that on a daily basis. Like, we don't need to see that. You can make it where it's a story where the guy was evil, but at his core, he still is human. And if you humanize that, it'll showcase that this is capable by anyone. I actually saw a Tumblr post about this where it was a video of Hitler recorded by Eva Braun, and he's acting like a normal person, and it's like, why is it so unsettling? And then someone commented and said, it's because we've always viewed him as this monster, but here we see him as a person, and it's very unsettling. If they did this with this movie and made Eichmann into, like, a good amount of his time talking isn't about his family or about what his new life is in Argentina or anything like that. But by him talking about his politics and what his views were, and about why what he did was right and why he wasn't as bad as they're making him seem like he was. But what they should have done to really drive home what this guy is and what he was capable of, and the fact that he is just like everyone else, is drive home the family aspect of it, which they kind of touch on, where he's constantly asking, how's my family, what's in the request he makes of Peter before he goes, before he signs the paper, is, I want to be able to see my wife one last time before I die. And things like that would have humanized the character, and I get you don't want to humanize a Nazi, but at the same time, I think you do want to humanize him, because if you say that it takes extraordinary people to be capable of such evil, it kind of detaches the everyday evil that we see that comes out of this ideology. Where if you were to humanize him and make him seem like everybody else, or he could be anyone, it may make people open their eyes a little bit more to everyday. I don't want to say everyday fascism, because that's a wrong way to put it, but everyday I don't know. I don't know the right word for it, but I think the point is clear. But in terms of acting performances, Ben Kingsley does a great job with what he's given. Oscar Isaac, as always. I think Oscar Isaac is a very underrated actor. Because, like, he was great here. Ex Machina, he's great. Even Star Wars, where he takes not the best material or the best amount of screen time, but he still pulls something out of it. He's just got that effortless, like, he's got, like, a certain, like, charm to him. He's like Henry Cavill, where he's got an effortless charm to him that radiates through in everything he's in. And Ben Kingsley has a certain gravitas that's needed for if you're going to be, if you're going to be playing a Nazi leader, or if you're playing Gandhi, or if you're playing the Mandarin, or something like that, you need a certain gravitas, and he does such a great job showcasing that. And I guess you can say that, like I said with White Boy Rick about, I forgot what her name is, from Jennifer Jason Leigh, where it's like she's just there. I guess that's what you can say about everyone else in the cast, considering there's no one else that's really a big name in this movie. Nick Kroll kinda is. I mean, he had Uncle Drew earlier this year. But he's more of a comedy actor, and he always ends up in these. Somehow he keeps ending up in drama movies, and he's a pretty good dramatic actor. I don't think people give him enough credit for that. He's not like Michael Rapaport in Atypical, who is just like, kind of like a fish out of water the entire time in terms of his acting ability. But Nick Kroll can transition into dramatic very well. And from him playing what largely amounts to being a jackass and everything else he is. And, So yeah, if you haven't seen this movie already, definitely go see it, especially because next week is a very weak weekend. Like, you got Smallfoot. It's all next week's all shit coming out, let's be honest. Smallfoot's gonna win out the weekend, but it's all shit that comes out. So this is definitely a movie I would recommend you go see. So we'll wrap it up there for today. Let's see, this is the first episode where we're doing a giveaway. We're giving away an ultraviolet copy of, I forgot which movie I selected for this week. I think it was, I want to say it was Justice League. Yeah, Justice League is this week's giveaway. An ultraviolet copy of Justice League. Open to anyone in the United States or anywhere where it is applicable that you can redeem an ultraviolet copy. One of the podcasts this week, either here or on 30-Minute Reviews, is going to have a code. You email the code in to 30minutereviews@gmail.com, and from people who email it in, we'll randomly select one winner from that group to get it. But the code's not in this episode, so you'll have to check out the other episodes this week. So coming up this week, we have tomorrow's Tuesday. Tuesday we don't have a podcast. Wednesday, on the other hand, we do have Beware of Spoilers. That's going to be about what's it called? That's going to be the house with a clock on its wall, I think is the name of the movie, with Jack Black and Cate Blanchett. Then Thursday, we have End of the Fucking World, which I didn't like that much. I thought I was expecting a lot more based on the critical reception for that movie, but we'll talk about that more then. And Friday, I haven't decided which piece of shit I'm going to see this weekend on Friday. I might just see Life Itself, which I know is going to be shit, but maybe I'll see it, but I don't know if I'll see it on a Friday night. That's weird. I don't know. We'll figure it out then. But definitely there's going to be another episode on Wednesday, because tomorrow I'm going to be going to see The House with a Clock on Its Walls. Definitely 30-minute reviews on Thursday. Definitely an episode on Friday. Just don't know what movie yet. So we'll be back with those later in the week.